night at Brandon Theaters watching Ghost in the Shell in 3D. Since this movie looked like it was kind of colorful, had particles and things moving around, maybe the 3D might be fun. It definitely kind of added a layer to it with all the hologram stuff. When she goes invisible and she's kind of like running through water, busting through glass, the 3D, it did help with that. But then when stuff kind of slowed down, it's just kind of, yeah, it was there. Movie based on anime, a successful anime. I have not seen anything in the anime until just the other night. So going into it, I was kind of able to do a little compare and contrast. I gotta say, there are some major differences, and there are some things I did see anime-wise I got to see become live action, which I thought was really cool. Like when she gets in her body, it's in the preview, so I'm not reading anything. It gets in her body and it's got like the milky thing and like it flakes away. I thought that was super cool. The movie had amazing fight scenes, action scenes, bullets, explosions, and it also had story, which is important. You need to know story. The only thing though, I don't know how to present it. I didn't really care for some of the story that they gave me. What I saw the other night, I just want that. Just give me what they're doing. I get the backstory is important, I guess, but I didn't really need it.
From the opening sequence of this film, my eyes were just glued to the screen for the entire running time of this film. Visually speaking, I was just blown away, amazed at what I was looking at. There's this just gorgeous, futuristic Japan cityscape, incredibly detailed both distance and close up. You've got all the people in this world with their future tech, their cybernetic enhancements, gadgets, cars, all sorts of stuff to look at. So if you're a fan of futuristic type movies, you're definitely not going to want to miss this film. The other part of it visually that was so great is they recreated a lot of iconic moments from the original 1995 animated film. I really appreciated that homage, that respectfulness to the visuals. They weren't trying to reinvent the wheel of what we saw necessarily, but they definitely they amped it up quite a bit in terms of just the technology of what we can do nowadays. And obviously there's a difference when you're looking at an animated feature versus a live action feature.
I'm going to preface this by saying that this group of reviewers is probably the best opinions you're going to get on this, because you've got someone that's kind of in between, you've got someone leaning towards the movie, and you've got someone that adores the anime so much they couldn't even appreciate the movie at all. So this is an excellent range of opinions. Myself, like I said, this was a big movie when I was younger. This movie was one of the couple, this and Akira, that got me into anime and kind of made me look at a whole new world of sci-fi. Before I knew about cyberpunk, before I knew about Shadowrun, this opened my world to a whole new world, for lack of a better word. I feel that was a detriment for me coming into this movie, how important the original anime was. I could not force myself to enjoy this movie. And when I was done, I was all set in the fact that this was a bad copy. They'd missed the point. They took certain scenes from action points of view and recreated them, but they had a different villain and a different point behind the character, focusing on a different person. But then I spoke to the rest of the group, and I found out that that was probably me being biased based off of my love for the original. Because as you probably know, just because the original might be better doesn't mean the new one's not a good movie. And that happens all the time. Just because the book is better doesn't mean that the new one isn't a great movie. It just means it's different. It's very different in some ways, but yet very similar in others.
Batal, the guy with the eyes, dude, he's so cool. Every time he's on screen, I'm like, I want more of him. Let's just do a side movie with him. He's huge. Like when you see them walk side by side, like Major is like this big, this guy's like up here, and he walks. I love it. It's so cool. The dynamic of that. It's kind of like they're like you'd say buddy cop, but not really. The look was super cool. I really bought into the whole, this is the future of the world. Everybody's very tech savvy. Everybody is enhanced or cybernetic this, or we can jack into the internet that. So that wasn't a stretch for me to buy into. I mean, for all like, everywhere you go, you see this. So very easy to buy into.
Personally, if I'm going to recommend you to see a remake of an animated film that came out within the last month, Ghost in the Shell rates higher than Beauty and the Beast in regards to animated better versus live action better from a visual standpoint. The characters even look so much like the animated version. I was kind of surprised and definitely impressed. Really enjoyed that aspect of it.
The action scenes, they took almost frame for frame some of the action scenes. I thought was really cool. Seeing it live action was neat. I'm not going to tell you which action scenes, although a lot of them are in the trailer, but if you do love the anime, you're going to see some of those scenes brought to life, which is really cool. But yet they changed the idea behind it. They changed the focus of the movie, whereas the anime is more focused on the group of Section 9, this is more focused on Major. And I don't know if that was necessary, and that's, I guess, where I'm coming from. I don't know if these changes were necessary. You had an amazing, iconic story to begin with, and I can't figure out why it was changed. Now, you're going to hear ideas on why it was changed from on the other two, and I definitely take their opinions with great weight because they're very intelligent people. But I still don't believe I understand why they changed it. I feel that a live-action version of the original story would have still held up today. I think it would have gotten audience goers thinking in a different way, thinking almost philosophical about what soul is and how much of the body has to be cybernetics before you're no longer human. And I think these questions are the amazing concepts that came about with the original Ghost in the Shell, and they're just lost in this movie, in my opinion. I feel it was more interested in telling her story and her crisis of identity than it was of telling the bigger philosophical picture. And that was a detriment for me.
Scarlett Johansson, honestly, I have no beef with you, but you were just kind of there. I didn't really care. It could have been another person in the role. Didn't really bother me.
Scarlett Johansson, interesting choice for sure to play this role. Personally, I enjoyed her performance, even though I would call it a little bit sterile, a little bit cold. I felt like it was fitting for the character, in my personal opinion. I also like the way that she found to move around, the way she walks, the way she stands still even. Her body is in certain positions that are not really natural for a human being, and I thought that it lended some authenticity to what she was trying to do. Really, her partner was another high point of the film, and the connection that the two of them have together, probably one of the best parts of the movie for me. I really enjoyed the camaraderie that these two share. It brings us out a little bit from the futuristic standpoint and takes us to more modern day, even like old school cop buddies essentially that drive around the car, have personal conversations, talk about work, talk about each other. They have a connection.
Some weird choices with casting in this movie. The character that I thought was an American in the anime is Asian in the movie, which is Togusa. I thought he was an American in the movie. He's the one that has no cybernetics, but except for the implant to be able to hear comms in your mind. Of course, Scarlett Johansson's character would be Asian, but in the movie is not. So I'm not sure why those choices were made. I mean, I guess at the core of things, I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. I guess it's not that important if the actors did a good job, and I felt the actor that did Togusa did a good job. I feel that Scarlett Johansson, with her attempt at the very dry Motoko, it almost looked deadpan. Like, it didn't work for me. It looked like she was not really acting that well. Like, she was just delivering lines bad. I didn't get the lack of emotion in her lines. I got just the poor reading of her lines is the feeling I got. In the anime, I know it's probably easier to do with an animated face. You have this delivery that is kind of a normal delivery, but with the face and the combination of the way that they carry herself and everything, you kind of get the idea there's no real emotion behind it. Scarlett Johansson just kind of seemed bleh. While I did enjoy the homages and the cool stuff, I mean, there's even like exact shots that are exactly the same, like overhead shot of a plane and cool stuff like that. But I feel that the soul of the movie, the ghost of the movie, if you will, was just different. It wasn't the same thing for me. I didn't get the same thing from it. I think I was hoping for a live action version of the original, and I got a live action loosely based off the original, and that's just not what I wanted. So I'm speaking directly to the diehard Ghost in the Shell 1995 fans. If you can separate the two when you watch it, I highly suggest it. You'll enjoy yourself more. I'm hearing that the movie was very fun and enjoyable from people that weren't attached to the anime. So if you can do that, I wish you luck. I could not.
I'm probably gonna go see it again because I think if I watch it again with Nick, I think we can maybe talk more things out. Maybe I might pick up on some more things that I had seen in the anime. But I don't know. It's definitely one of those engaging movies. It's very pretty to look at. I liked it. I might even own it. Very good, strong possibility. So I would give the movie an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed all the action. I enjoyed the idea of mixing machine and human, put them together, and here's what we get. Kind of, there are some cliches. Mine it's in there, you know, but still, it's just one of those movies I feel that's gonna be kind of one of those rare gems that comes out and you're like, not bad, like I liked it.
I enjoy the look, the characters, the acting, the setting, the themes, the story, the music. That's a lot to like for this film. Only minor quibbles for me. This is a huge win. I would love to see this movie again. It's a 9 out of 10.
So I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. I feel they had a responsibility to remake the original with the same philosophical questions and the same basic idea of why it exists in the first place, and they did not do that. They changed the story enough to make it either easier to follow or more relatable so you can relate to one of the characters. I just don't think that was necessary. So I can't separate the loss of what could have been from what is, and that results in a 6 out of 10.
Like this video and favorite it, leave your comments down below. Did you like the movie or did you like the anime one better? Curious to know. With our little group, we have some interesting dynamics. So what did you think? throw that down there. Curious to know, we can engage. Like this video, favorite it, hit that subscribe button. When you do that, you get more reviews like this, plus throwback reviews, unboxing videos, other shenanigans we do on the daily and weekly. And remember guys, you heard it here at The Source.